War never changes, but the Fallout series does. Hey everybody, I'm Fox with FoxeoGames, and it's time to review Fallout 4 for the PC. Well, actually it's a long past time to review it. Why am I always so late to the party? As always, whenever possible, I prefer to play my games on the PC, for a variety of reasons. Those include better performance, better graphics, mods, and additional input options. And with that, let's take a look at Fallout 4 from a PC port perspective. So it's time for the Port Report.
Well, actually, Fox, you can't use that title because Total Biscuit already uses it.
Oh, well, how about the Report of the Port? Just doesn't have the same effect, does it? Anyway, Fallout 4 is a Bethesda title, so no one should be surprised that the game has some various little bugs and wonkiness to be patched out. And as of the release of this video, it has not yet been patched out. Graphics options, as usual, are fairly decent, although they're still in the bad habit of putting most graphics settings outside of the game in a separate launcher window. I just hate when they do this. The options start at medium and go all the way up to ultra, which leads me to believe that they don't know what words like medium and ultra even mean. In this case, medium is actually low because it's the lowest setting there is. Unfortunately, many important functions are unavailable in the menus and force you to edit the .ini files to change them. This includes mouse acceleration, field of view, vertical sync, and more. One of the biggest unforgivables is that the game's physics can start to break down beyond 60 frames per second, even causing my character to get hopelessly stuck at terminals. Sadly, I was forced to cap the frame rate artificially with a third-party application. I chose 72 frames per second, which is half of 144, the refresh rate of my monitor. Speaking of bugs and glitches, yeah, well, no one should be surprised to find a variety of little oddities, including crazy physics on corpses, occasionally odd pathfinding behavior, and texture flicker. What I did find really surprising, and I mean really surprising, is that not once did I encounter a single crash to desktop. So kudos to Bethesda for their first PC release in memory that hasn't caused a crash yet. And I'm not the only one reporting this experience. Granted, I'm sure some of you have had the game crash on you, but on another note, the good news is that the game always reliably recovers from Alt-Tabs for me, so feel free to Alt-Tab out of the game at will. Key binding is pretty solid, except for the fact that some functions are doubled up with others and you can't separate them. The biggest offender is the grenade function, which is forcibly combined with the melee bash function. The game has some serious performance issues, even with many settings turned down low. You'll experience significant frame rate drops while in large cities and sometimes in vast open spaces. While it offers a borderless windowed mode, it's utterly broken for me and will not run past 47 frames per second. You can play with either the keyboard and mouse or the controller, but the interface is clearly optimized for a controller. The only real complaint I had about using the mouse and keyboard was that you were often expected to navigate menus by clicking on text, just words, or pressing a keyboard button on the other hand, but there are no clear boundaries around the text to make it clear where you can click or where you can't click. So with the port issues out of the way, let's get to the game itself. Fallout 4 is the next numbered title in the Fallout series, although you don't have to know anything about the stories from Fallout 3 or New Vegas to follow this one. They all sort of function separately from one another. 4 is set in Boston, and obviously it's the usual post-nuclear war scenario you've come to know from the series. The first thing I noticed about the game is that the graphics, while better than the previous titles, are a bit lacking. Console players may not notice it as much, but for the PC hounds out there, this game is a seriously mixed bag in the graphics department. Some sections look pretty good, while others look downright terrible. Don't be surprised to see some textures that seem reminiscent of a game from 2005. I'm quite serious when I say that some of these textures look like upscaled HD versions of something you'd see in a game from 10 years ago. The presentation of the rest of the game mostly follows suit with this. The voice acting can be pretty good, but sometimes you'll get some barely passable actors. The character movement and facial expressions during dialogue can be really inconsistent. You'll see some characters that look genuinely terrible, and their expressions are nothing short of terrifyingly awkward. The story can be interesting at times, but is mostly mediocre. To be honest, I've never really considered Bethesda all that good at storytelling. They're better at creating giant open worlds where you can do a lot of interesting stuff, but nothing particularly exceptional. While you can find lots of interesting bits of lore with the in-game notes and terminal entries, the side quests are pretty generic and lifeless. Expect to do a lot of fetch and kill quests. I'm glad to see that, without spoiling anything, Bethesda has added some new depth to the post-nuclear wasteland in Fallout 4. You'll see some new creatures and characters in addition to the usual ghouls, super mutants, and rad scorpions of the past. Some of you will like the newly skinned ghouls and super mutants, and some of you won't. I found the retextures acceptable enough, although I prefer the ghouls of Fallout 3. Roaming around in the dark metro in Fallout 3 left me genuinely freaked out every time one of these freakishly looking ghouls came running at me. Very rarely do games invoke any real sense of dread in me, but the absolutely freakish ghouls of Fallout 3's metro did that for me, but yet nothing in Fallout 3 has accomplished that for me quite yet. The music is where Fallout 4 really shines over the other games in my opinion. I was surprised to find that in addition to the usual title screen theme, the other songs are not only really good, but they have a sort of Celtic theme to them, or Celtic, however you prefer to pronounce it, I don't care. Maybe, I don't know what I'm talking about here, but I just felt like they had a Celtic vibe. That's just me. Maybe you didn't feel the same. But what's the combat like, you ask? Well, it's better than Fallout 3 or New Vegas, but still a little wonky at times. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I found myself using the VATS system here a whole lot less than the previous two titles. You can build up points toward critical attacks using VATS, although I constantly forgot to engage the system myself. I enjoyed the gunplay quite a bit, as weapons have a much more weighty feel to them than in previous titles. Unfortunately, many enemies take far too many shots to kill and end up feeling like bullet sponges. I mean, it makes sense that in a fantasy game like Skyrim that a powerful beast would require numerous hits to take down, but having to shoot a human character a dozen times or more to kill them just feels odd to me. But on the other hand, there is the brand new weapon and armor modding system. You can now modify most weapons and armor pieces, and the weapons have a variety of mods, including the barrel, stock, magazine, and scope. This really allows you to customize weapons to your liking, and each mod can add some unique bonuses, such as increased damage with additional weight, faster reloading with lower magazine size, and so on. I really enjoyed the modding system, and I think you will too. And speaking of customization, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the also brand new settlement construction system. That's right, many of the settlements in the game not only allow you to befriend them, but you can also enter into this sort of construction mode in which you lay down new structures, craft furniture and objects, and even set up defenses. Nearly every object in the game can be broken down into core components for use, so all of that worthless trash from previous titles now serves a valuable function. Don't feel bad for picking up every aluminum can, desktop fan, hot plate, and so on. Unfortunately, the system feels like it wasn't fully realized. There are various issues with lining up components of buildings, and many structures won't actually fit flush to the ground. Building stuff from a first-person perspective is never ideal, and the control scheme for this system can get confusing and convoluted. Overall, it's a nice addition to the game that some people will really love and spend a whole lot of time on, but the deeper you go, the more limited it starts to feel. It's not really my thing anyway. But you know what is my thing? Exploration. I love exploring in giant fantasy worlds, and Fallout 4 doesn't disappoint here. There's a lot to do and a lot to discover, and if you're new to the whole Fallout series, you're really in for something special. If you're an experienced veteran from the previous two titles, well, Fallout 4 may start to feel a little stale to you. It sure did for me. It's still interesting and fun to play, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I've done most of this all before. In fact, I've done it twice. Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Fallout 4 follows the same basic formula, and by now that formula is becoming a little too familiar for my tastes. Overall, I really enjoyed my time with Fallout 4, and I think it's a worthy entry in the series despite feeling quite familiar. They added plenty of new twists like the settlement construction mode and weapon modding system to make this title worth a purchase even if you've exhausted everything there is to do in Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Don't expect anything novel here, but if you've enjoyed the previous titles, you're bound to love this one too. I can wholeheartedly recommend picking this one up, although it's up to you whether you want to wait for those first few patches or not. So what do you guys think of Fallout 4, and in particular the PC version? I'd love to know your thoughts and feelings, so please leave your comments below. I really do read all of them, including yours, Grandpa Joe. See, I can like games that aren't Dark Souls, proving that you're wrong. And the person who gave this comment a thumbs up. You know who you are. At any rate, I'm Fox with FoxeoGames. Don't forget to give the video a like or dislike, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.